This is Inside Indiana Business Radio for the afternoon of December 23rd, 2022. I'm Alex Brown. With the passage of the CHIPS and Science Act, the U.S. is moving full steam ahead with growing its semiconductor industry. But Purdue University professor Peter Bermel says the country needs to consider several factors to become competitive.
If the cost of production is too high, then it's not possible for the U.S. microelectronics to compete on the global civilian marketplace. The second factor is regulation. That can become a barrier to producing the items that are demanded.
He says the first goal is to address the workforce challenges in semiconductors by establishing a foundational knowledge for students entering the industry. With just 16 hours to spare, a judge has ordered Franciscan Health Hammond's emergency room to keep its doors open for another 9 months. Our partners at the Times of Northwest Indiana report a preliminary injunction was granted to the city to prevent the hospital from closing its ER at the end of the month. Indianapolis-based One America has named David Weisenberger Chief Investment Officer, succeeding John Mason, who will retire in May after 36 years with the company. The insurance and financial services provider says Weisenberger is just the fifth CIO to serve the company since World War II. From the number one source for Indiana business news, this is Inside Indiana Business Radio.
Don't miss your chance to nominate a worthy business or community leader for IBJ's 40 Under 40 Awards. It's one of our most prestigious awards programs celebrating the accomplishments of leaders under the age of 40. We're on the lookout for people who have achieved a level of success that is rare at a young age. Who will be named to this year's class? We need your input. Learn more and submit your nomination by January 13th at ibj.com/nominations.
Whether it's a new hire or a noteworthy promotion, IIB's Big Wigs and New Gigs serves as a platform to promote your team. Our revamped offering includes being featured on both the newly redesigned newsletter and at InsideIndianaBusiness.com. Subscribers to the Business News subscription save $10 off every listing. Plus, you can save $100 by bundling your submission to IIB with the Indianapolis Business Journal or the Indiana Lawyer. More at InsideIndianaBusiness.com.
A statewide charter school group has filed a complaint with the State Attorney General's office against Indianapolis Public Schools.
The Indiana Charter School Network alleges the district failed to comply with the state law, requiring it to offer unused school buildings to charter schools for $1. The complaint stems from the district's passage of its reorganization plan, known as Rebuilding Stronger, which closes 6 schools at the end of this school year and leaves a 7th building empty when another school moves locations in 2026. At least 3 charter schools have signaled their intent to occupy some of these buildings, but IPS officials have said they hope to keep the facilities by lobbying state lawmakers to give the district flexibility under the law. The complaints claim the school board failed to alert the State Department of Education of its available buildings slated for closure within 10 days of voting to close the schools on November 17, as required by law. The network also alleges that the board failed to seek a certification that the district complied with the law within 15 days of the vote, also as required by state statute. IPS said in a statement that the buildings may have a number of future uses, including administrative offices, training facilities for professional development, or emergency response training, as outlined in the Rebuilding Stronger resolution approved by the board. This is Gary Dick for Inside Indiana Business Radio.
A nearly 130-year-old building in downtown Terre Haute is set to be transformed into a West Central business hub. The Tribune-Star reports the former Holman & Company building, when complete, will include offices for the Terre Haute Chamber of Commerce, Launch Terre Haute, and the Terre Haute Economic Development Corporation, among others. Renovation work is set to begin in February on the 150,000-square-foot building. The local offices will occupy the first 2 floors, and officials say the remaining 5 floors will be considered for future office or residential space. The project received a $500,000 grant from the Regional Economic Acceleration and Development Initiative earlier this year, which is being matched with local funding. A high-profile Central Indiana physician has developed an impressive social media following through his YouTube channel. In addition to serving as Chief Health Officer for Indiana University, Dr. Aaron Carroll is also the face of Healthcare Triage and enjoys a nearly 500,000 subscriber list.
We try to take good research, data, and evidence and show how they should be applied to people's conceptions about health. So sometimes that's about demystifying something that's already been said or explaining why new research is really something to pay attention to. A lot of our episodes try to go against sort of conventional wisdom and show, again, how research data and evidence can be used to dispel those kinds of myths or misperceptions.
The show is completely independent and not associated with IU. Carol says the project is funded mostly by viewer support through the online membership platform Patreon, with a small amount of ad revenue from YouTube. Senator Todd Young is this week's guest on the Business and Beyond podcast with Gary Dick, presented by PNC, a weekly conversation with high-profile Hoosiers in business, sports, and entertainment, and beyond. Available now from your favorite podcast provider. I'm Alex Brown for Inside Indiana Business Radio on Demand.